ding 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 ding.
Now, some 4 or 5 years ago, I had this idea to make hot ice cream. Got really excited and spent a good year to 2 trying to actually make it work. And in the end, I kind of gave up because anything that is an ice cream has to have ice crystals. And if it's warm, it's got no ice crystals in it, it doesn't feel like an ice cream. It's just no more than a play on words. But Jockey has come up with a possibility of actually creating this. Excuse me. We use flaming rum to heat a ball of ice cream made with gellan gum, a heat-resistant gelling agent which you can't buy in the shops. Amazingly enough, it stopped the ice cream from melting. Can you see that? Not quite clearly enough, so we tried a larger volume of the alcohol. You can argue that's hot.
You can say that's ice cream.
And it's not melting.
Still cold.
It's hot on the outside, and because it's cold in the centre, it's still ice cream. That's brilliant.
Let's get it on.
Yeah.
Come here.
Oh, now I've got to try and work it into the recipe. Well done, Jockey. This was a fantastic result. A culinary first.
Ding 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 ding.
So now to the main body of the Baked Alaska. I'm making a banana parfait. Now, the original recipe calls for banana ice cream, but this parfait recipe is less liquid at room temperature, and that's going to help keep the centre solid while the meringue heats up. To the parfait, I'm adding a hazelnut praline. This will give a wonderful textural contrast. So in this pan, I've lightly roasted hazelnuts in the oven. Now add to that some sugar, and then we're going to caramelise the sugar. The purpose for this is to create a hazelnut praline that's going to run through the banana parfait and add a really nice textural variance to the cake. Just continue cooking this until the whole thing becomes liquid. Okay, so while that's melting, bananas. It's very important for this recipe that you actually get bananas that are pretty ripe, so when they start to blacken, that extra richness from caramelising the bananas really does make a difference. Over here, I'll make some meringue. So the egg whites have now started to near soft peak stage. Just turn the speed down to medium and add the sugar. Now we'll leave that running for a good 5 minutes. And then in another pan, add some butter. Add the bananas to the pan with the butter, and then to that I'm going to add some unrefined caster sugar. Okay, that sugar's caramelised nicely. Spread the nuts out to a tray and leave these to cool. They will take a while because that caramel holds onto heat really well. Okay, while the meringue's whisking, I'm going to whip some cream. Whenever you're whipping cream, it's important to make sure that the bowl's cold and the cream's cold. Take this to the point where it just begins to form peaks, but it's almost still pourable. It's just starting to caramelise nicely. The smell of this is just fantastic. Last thing to add to this, some rum. I'm going to flame it, so just light a match. Health and safety love this bit. As soon as the flames have died down, make sure you get all of the caramelised juices from the bottom of the pan into this puree. So we're going to transfer that into a sieve. I'm just using the back of a ladle, force the bananas through the sieve. Okay, the meringue's ready. Now, final step before combining all these ingredients, the fun bit. So these are the sort of size pieces that we're looking for. Now I need to combine all of the ingredients. So I've got the lightly whipped cream, Italian meringue, banana puree, and the praline. Take a little bit of the meringue and fold it into the cream first. Just incorporate that with a whisk. In the same way that we incorporated the meringue for the sponge, working the spatula around the inside of the bowl and then folding the mix over. We want to keep lightness into this parfait. So now it's time to incorporate the caramelized banana puree and the praline. Carefully as possible, keep the lightness in the mix. Just fold the nuts and the banana. Just got to taste it. If I say so myself, that is fantastic. So that's ready to go into the mold, but not until I've shown you the next step.
Ding 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 ding.
Obviously, with all of these dishes, it's finding a mixture of something which is a nod to the origin and the tradition, something that's a nod to general perception because it's really about what people expect that dish to be, and personal. What do I like about it?
Ding 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 ding.
And now for the next stage. I'm making a white chocolate tube to run through the middle of my baked Alaska. I've just taken a sheet of acetate, trimmed it down, and then rolled it into a tube. So I've taken some cling film, just folded it over a couple of times. So I've just sealed the end with the cling film. Over here, I've got some white chocolate I've melted in a bain-marie. Easiest way to do this is just fill the tube, say 3/4 full, and then pour the excess white chocolate out. And now this needs to go into the freezer just to harden up. Just make sure that the whole length of the tube's covered in white chocolate. So that famous expression. Here's one I did earlier. Now here, I've got some raspberry sorbet. And here's how to make it. First, get a whole load of defrosted frozen raspberries and put them in a food processor. I've used frozen ones, so you can easily make this at any time of the year. Now give them a good whiz so that you end up with a puree. Next, mash the puree through a sieve, which will get rid of all the seeds. Weigh the puree to work out the quantity of fructose that will be needed. I think 170 grams of fructose for every 625 grams of raspberry puree gives a good balance. Now once that's done, pour the whole lot back into a mixer and add the vodka and the fructose. Mix it all up until the fructose is dissolved. I'm using fructose as it's a natural fruit sugar that really brings out the sweetness of the raspberries. Now bash some dry ice in a tea towel with a rolling pin. Then slowly start adding it to the mixer. Dry ice freezes quickly so that ice crystals don't have time to form, giving a really smooth textured sorbet. Keep adding dry ice until all the puree has frozen. Once that's done, scrape the sorbet into a piping bag. Place in the freezer for 20 minutes or so to firm it up a bit.